Hello and welcome to match day 2 of the Premier League here today. And we know that last week there's lots of jam-packed action happened last week as we had Chelsea beating Man City last week, and also as well the other game spectacularly. We know that Leicester City and Newcastle was a very good game last week. It was as it ended 5-4. But this week in match day 2, however, let's look at the matches for round 2 of the Premier League. The big matches of the Premier League we are going to have is at the Celtic at home, as Celtic will be playing at home to Arsenal. And also as well, we're going to have is Leicester City, and they are going to be taking on Spurs. And also as well, the highlights for the other Premier League matches will be broadcast as well here today for match day 2 of the Premier League. And now speaking first, in our first matchup here today, televised, is going to be Arsenal travelling all the way up to north to Celtic in Glasgow, as it will be Celtic taking on Arsenal. And now let's get to the match right now between these two teams. And let's get straight into the matchup here today live, as we have a Celtic taking on Arsenal in this game here today. And we know that Celtic Football Club did actually got a draw in their last matchup away from home at Villa Park, and they drew 1-1 in that matchup. But for Arsenal, however, they are obviously top of the Premier League, and they did win 7-1 in their first opening game of the season at the Emirates against Everton by 7-1 last week. And they really performed very well on that day. And now let's get straight into the action right here, right now, as Arsenal come away from home to take on Celtic. And Celtic's team, we've got Joe Hart in goal. We have obviously Joseph Juranovic. We've got Shane Duffy. We've got also Matty O'Reilly, Callum McGregor. But for the front three, we have his Ryan Christie, we have his Edouard, and also Jota for Celtic. And obviously Arsenal are here to their away from home, their first away match of the Premier League season, led by captain Ben White, doing the leading here today as the captain for the team. And obviously Mikel Arteta's team really want to get into the top 4 this season after finishing 6th last season. And this season they've got a new team with Aaron Ramsdale, William Saliba, Ben White. We also have Gabriel as well in the team. We've got Saka as well. We've got Martin Odegaard is also new to the team. We've got also Zaha up front as well, and also Gabriel Jesus, who's also had a very good Europa League campaign for Arsenal, as he was the top goal scorer in the whole of the Europa League competition. But today, this is a televised matchup as Arsenal team travel to the north of the Great Britain to take on Celtic in this matchup. And let's get this action underway as Celtic play against Arsenal. And let's get to the match right now between these two. And now here's Martinelli. And now it's Ryan Christie. Now we're all calling out Gabriel. And that's going to be now a goal kick. And also Gabriel Jesus scored 4 goals in the first game of the Premier League season when they played against Everton. And now here's Aqua now for Arsenal. And now Gabriel Martinelli here. Martinelli might have a chance to put it in. Oh, good defending right there from cover there from Celtic's defender right there. That could have been 1-0 Arsenal right there. But good defending there from Celtic. And now it's going to be a corner here in the Etihad Park Stadium. And corner kick is going to be for Arsenal. Be very, very interesting for Arsenal here. Now Saka will take this corner. And then the last corner right here is going to cross it into the box here. And now Bukayo Saka crosses it in. Chance or save there from Joe Hart. Great save there from Joe Hart right there. A beautiful save out of that. He reached that very nicely, and he made a great save from that. And now it's going to be a corner, another corner here for Arsenal. Now Saka, header. Oh, what a save there from Joe Hart again. He made another good save out of that, he did. And now Tomiyasu now for Arsenal now on the attack. Now Gabriel Jesus could have scored, but good defending there from Celtic now. And there's a chance here for a goal. And now here's Gabriel Jesus. The chance. Oh, another save there from Joe Hart. He's doing so well, he's doing in this game. He's also cleared off this goal line technology. He made a great save out of that, as we all thought that ball was over the line, but it wasn't, as the ball wasn't over the line. What a save there from Joe Hart. Now corner here for Arsenal again here, looking for the first goal of the match, and a save again there from Joe Hart. And now is O'Reilly, who lost the ball now to Aqua now. Now to Martinelli. Now Martinelli now passes it to Jesus in. Gabriel Jesus, another save there from Joe Hart. Another save from Joe Hart right there. He made a great save again, and Gabriel Jesus scored 4 goals already in this Premier League campaign, and he's done an incredible job on saving those, Joe Hart. And now here's Martinelli with the ball here for Arsenal. Here now is Wilfried Zaha. Wilfried Zaha now, could be a chance, and a goal. Finally, Arsenal have got the breakthrough, and they've scored by Wilfried Zaha, and Arsenal are 1-0 up to the good in this match. Yes, very good goal there from Wilfried Zaha. He puts it into the back of the net. It was a good place ball there from Martinelli there to Zaha, and he smashes it and he makes it there 1-0, and Zaha puts it into the back of the net and scored, and that was beautiful right there from him. And now here's there's a chance for Jota. Oh, Jota's scored, and Celtic are back in level pegging, and Celtic have scored. It was 1-0 on the other end for Arsenal, and on the other end Celtic scored to make it now 1-0. What a game, what a contest we've had, ladies and gentlemen, as Celtic are now back in level terms. And Arsenal were leading, they were, and now Celtic are now back in the game, as it's now 1-0 between these two teams. And now here's Gabriel Jesus. He could be looking for his 5th goal in the Premier League so far in the space of 2 games, and he does. And the top goal scorer of the Premier League, like he did in the Europa League as well, has scored to make Arsenal be leading before half-time. Yes, what a goal there. What a composure there from Gabriel Jesus. He knew where to put the ball, and he does. And Arsenal are now 2-1 up in the lead right there. What a goal from Arsenal to get back in the matchup. And that is a nice goal. That was there beautifully there. He placed it very nice. Obviously Joe Hart put his foot towards it. He's been a great goalkeeper for today's matchup, but unfortunately he didn't stop that one, and it's now 2-1 to the Gunners. And now here's Aqua. Now here's Wilfried Zaha. Now Wilfried Zaha now has a chance to make it 3-1. A save there from Joe Hart. He's been a good goalkeeper today, Joe Hart. He has made so many stops he's made for Celtic. And now it's going to be a substitute here now. Aqua's going to be coming off, and Albert Sami Lukonga's going to be coming on here for Arsenal. And the Gunners, of course, have got a substitute change here at the Ottingham Park. And there's a chance here. Oh, a save there from Joe Hart. He made a perfect save out of that one. Another quality save from Joe Hart. What a cross into the box from Arsenal. But Joe Hart, with his hands on that, he's now giving it Arsenal another corner here now. Bukayo Saka now crosses it in. Oh, header away there from Celtic's defender right there now. Here's a chance here to Martinelli. And now maybe here could be Ben White. Oh, what a save again. A diving header, but it was saved by Joe Hart. And obviously Martin Odegaard's going to be coming off for Arsenal, and Lucas Tierra's going to be coming on as a substitute's been made for Arsenal. And now here's Edouard. Pass it nicely there. Oh no, he lost the ball, and oh, there's a shot and a save there. And Jarnovic had a shot, it was saved by Aaron Ramsdale. Now Celtic trying to get back into the game here, and they're trying to get back to 2-2 in this matchup, like what they did when they were losing by 1-0, and then they turned it around to make it 1-1. They want to do the exact same thing now again in the second half, but unfortunately they can't do that. As now Arsenal here on the counter-attack. Now Gabriel Jesus on his own here. He's got options here. Can he go all the way? Oh, okay, Celtic won the ball back, and now Joe Hart boots it away. And now here's Celtic in the attack now. Edouard now to Haiti. Now Haiti in a save there from Ramsdale. And Ramsdale makes a perfect save out of that one to give it a corner for Celtic. Instead of really pushing their luck, they are pushing hard to really at least get something. And Tomiyasu's going to be coming off, and also Cedric's going to be coming on for Arsenal. And now crosses it in here. Good header right from Wilfried Zaha now. He's Gabriel Jesus. Now Jesus now to Lucas Tierra now. And now Tierra now. Lucas Tierra now the ball. He's on the attack here now for Arsenal. Now Tierra now. Tierra maybe. Oh, could be the Congo. Okay, no it doesn't. And the game ends as Arsenal win the matchup here today, and another 3 points in the bag, but away from home. They won here today at the Ottingham Park Stadium, and they win the matchup by 2-1, all thanks to Gabriel Jesus, and also all thanks as well to the other goal scorer in the game, Wilfried Zaha. as Arsenal get another 3 points in the bag away from home to make it 6 points in the league as it ends Celtic 1, Arsenal 2. A huge win for Arsenal as they have got themselves another 3 points in the bag to make it 6 points in total in 2 games straight, after defeating Everton last week by 7 goals to 1, and also this week against Celtic by 2 goals to 1. And now their arch rivals Spurs have got their matchup here in this big televised match as they go to Leicester at the King Power Stadium, as it will be Leicester City playing against Spurs. And let's get to the match right now for the second televised match here for round 2 of the Premier League. And we are live at the Midlands here today in Leicester, the home of Leicester City Football Club, as Leicester play their first home game of their league campaign here for round 2 of fixtures of the Premier League. And they take on against a team who did draw last week and dropped points at home last week, Rangers. And we know that Rangers, of course, did draw in that match they did by 3-3. And now, of course, for them now, they've got the opportunity, hopefully, if they can get a result here today against Leicester. They had a really good whopping Champions League group stage when they came first in the group under Jose Mourinho's management, and now they've qualified into the round of 16 to take on Werder Bremen in September. But for Leicester, however, they've got a very strong team themselves, because they did qualify in the Europa League last season, came 5th, they almost got 4th on that last game of the season when they lost to Man City, and Spurs did actually win to Newcastle, and that meant that Spurs sneaked into 4th in the last game of the season, all thanks to the win for Man City at the Etihad Stadium to actually make Leicester unfortunately fail to qualify for the Champions League. And instead, the battle of European football is now behind those two teams, and then they're going to really focus each other in the league itself, as at King Power Stadium, Tottenham come here today with a strong team, and hopefully they can get a result in the bag. Or Leicester could even get a victory over Spurs, like revenge from last season. Anything could happen, we'll just have to wait and see. And we know that, of course, Mourinho's got a strong team today, as he always usually puts for all of his matches. And also the same thing also exactly for Brendan Rodgers' team, to put the strong team in their squad to hopefully get the result here to that King Power. Now is Ndidi, and now Drewsby Hall, and now James Maddison there, and there's a penalty, and the referee is pointing to the spot as the ball was ricocheted off of Eric Dyer's hand. And what a start to the game here in this matchup, as now Leicester have got a penalty against Spurs. Things are going bad to worse for Tottenham, and now Jamie Vardy will take the penalty here at the King Power Stadium, and they are praying to put this ball into the back of the net and to start the game, the first 9 minutes of the match up here. And now Jamie Vardy, and it's gone wide. It's gone wide out into the crowd. What the hell was that penalty right there? That was one of the worst penalties we just ever had, and Brendan Rodgers ain't happy about that. I can tell on his facial expression. And now there's a chance for Song. Save there from Kasper Schmeichel. Yeah, Song had a chance there to score for Tottenham straight after when Leicester City missed that penalty. They went in the other end and tried to score, but they couldn't. And now it's going to be a corner here for Tottenham. Yeah, Spurs have got a corner in this match. Let's see who comes up on top for Spurs. Heung-min Son will take this corner kick. Now crosses it in here. Now header away. Wait, what shot? Spurs have got a chance in it. Blocked off on the defenders. Now out for another corner for Tottenham. And now Spurs have got a. And now is Fekir. Now Kulusevski. Now Kulusevski now for Tottenham. Chance maybe. Good defender there from Leicester City right there now. And now here's Aspas on the attack here. Aspas. Good defending once again. Wait a second, a penalty has been given. A handball into the box. And the Turkish defender, Shuchek, has accidentally handballed it in the box. And now Spurs have got a penalty in the other end of the pitch. Well, Leicester City, of course, had a penalty in their end. But however, the penalty was missed by Jamie Vardy in the 9th minute of the game. But hopefully we'll see if Aspas puts this ball into the back of the net to make it 1-0 to Spurs. And it is a 1-0 to Spurs, as Tottenham Hotspur are 1-0 up at the King Power Stadium, all thanks to a penalty from Aspas. Yeah, Jamie Vardy might have fouled in their end to get the penalty into the back of the net as that ball was skived into the crowd. But this one, however, wasn't, as Spurs take the lead as it's 1-0 to Tottenham in this match. Now here's Ryan Sessegnon now running with the ball here towards it, and a sliding tackle there from Ndidi. And Ndidi just took out Ryan Sessegnon. Ryan Sessegnon's hurt. He looks like he's hurt right there from Ndidi's sliding challenge. And Wilfred Ndidi's been booked by a yellow card by a sliding tackle taking out Ryan Sessegnon. And that's going to be now a free kick for Spurs. And now it's Song Heung-min, now Ben Davies, now Romero. And now, okay, now giving it now to Heung-min Song. And now good defending, nice and beautifully there for the defender for Maddison. Yeah, good defender for Maddison, the midfielder for Leicester. Now is Ryan Sessegnon here. Oh, that pace down that wing right there for Tottenham. That's good defender there. Maddison hit the ball. Now going to be now a corner. It's going to be a corner right here for Spurs. Pass it nicely there. Now is Albright. Now Mark Albright now on the counter attack here for Leicester. Now there's Højbjerg for Tottenham, giving it there to Song. And what a challenge there from Mark Albright. Now it's to Jamie Vardy. And now Maddison. Now Maddison now. Shot from Maddison. Oh, at the post. That could have been 1-0. It could have been. That could have been a level pegging goal. But it hit the post. And that could have been. Good defending at the back there for Spurs. And now it's Shrewsbury Hall. And a save again there for the goalkeeper Lopez. And now here's Maddison. And now it's Eric Dyer. Now it's Albright. Now Albright. Good defending. Oh, that's a handball outside of the box. It's going to be a free kick. And it's going to be James Maddison will take the free kick, and Emmanuel Royale is going to be coming off, and Bassoum is going to be coming on for Spurs. And now it's James Maddison. Oh, close. And now here's Leicester. Now Mark Albright for Leicester City might get a goal here. Now James Maddison. Oh, defended off there. And that's going to be now corner kick, and a substitute's going to be made here. Oliver Skipp's going to be coming on for Tottenham, and Højbjerg's going to be coming off as Mourinho's substitute. Now here's a corner here for Leicester. Now it's a chance. Oh, Harvey Barnes. Good cover up there from Tottenham there. Won the ball, but now Fekir now. Fekir. Oh, good defending there. Corner here now for Spurs. Now Song Heung-min Song. And now the ball's out of the penalty area here. Now Leicester City, Vardy and Sigurdsson clashing each other here. And now it's a chance. Now it's Souček. And it's all over, and the game ends here today between Leicester City and Spurs, as Spurs have got their first 3 points in the Premier League campaign this season for Matchday 2. They came here today to the Midlands, to Leicester, and they really hanged on to that 1-0 lead throughout the whole matchup, all thanks to a penalty from Aspas. Vardy failed to score the penalty in the first 9 minutes of the game, and that ends as Leicester City lost here today by 1-0 to Tottenham at home at the King Power Stadium for the first game at home for Leicester this season. And that's a huge win, of course, for Spurs, and they won here today by a crucial 1-0 win after beating Leicester here today by 1-0. Leicester, however, did really try their best throughout the whole game when they were trailing by 1-0, but Spurs hold out to that 1-0 lead. And now, let's get into the official highlights for all of the other 8 games of the Premier League here for round 2 here right now. Newcastle United got themselves a penalty in the 18th minute of the matchup by a foul from Norgard and gave a penalty for Newcastle United. And the referee did give Norgard for Brentford a yellow card for that challenge there to Callum Wilson. And that was a reckless challenge for him in the books. And Callum Wilson did put the ball into the back of the net to make it 1-0 to Newcastle in the 20th minute of the matchup. And he scored, and he put it in the top left corner to make Newcastle be leading by 1-0 in the match so far. And then Newcastle United got themselves a second goal of the game by Miguel Almiron, who puts it into the back of the net. And the goalkeeper for Brentford, Raya, unfortunately couldn't save that one, as Newcastle extend their lead by 2-0. And then Brentford, of course, got back in the game by a goal from Dalsberg, and he's got on the score sheet again like he did last week to Wolves at Molineux. And that was a goal to try and hopefully get back into the game, hopefully if they can do so against Newcastle. Unfortunately for Newcastle, however, they got themselves a penalty given away to Brentford to get back into the game, as they were leading by 2-0 to might make it 2-2. And Dolsberg made it again, a second goal for Dolsberg in the match for Brentford, as they made it 2-2. A great comeback from losing from 2-0 down to make it 2-2, and the game could possibly end here at the Brentford Community Stadium for Brentford to get back in the match. But that wasn't the case, unfortunately, as Newcastle scored in the last minute of the game to seal Newcastle their first 3 points in the Premier League season by a goal from Callum Wilson in the last seconds of the game. We all thought the game will end as a draw between these two, but it wasn't, as Brentford failed to get a point over Newcastle as the game ended at the Brentford Community Stadium, as Brentford, of course, lost the game by 3-2 by a crucial last-minute goal for Callum Wilson to get themselves the first 3 points of the season, as Newcastle won by 3-2. It was a very good game. It was between Portsmouth and AFC Richmond. In the 25th minute, Ivan Toney put it into the back of the net, the goal at Fratton Park, to make Portsmouth be leading the game by 1-0. But then AFC Richmond equalised in before half-time. It was a goal from Tart, who chipped D. Henderson, the goalkeeper for Portsmouth, to make it 1-1 before half-time. And then Portsmouth got back into the game, and they were leading, finally back in the matchup by Eze to make it 2-1 to Pompey. And then Roy Kent had a chance but gave the ball there to Rojas and scored for AFC Richmond to make it 2-2. And the game was very, very intense between the two teams at Fratton Park. And then Trossard to try and make it 3-2, but it ricocheted off of Dixon's foot to make it 3-2 to Portsmouth. And Sam Adesanya for AFC Richmond to make it 3-3, and Richmond weren't giving up without a fight, as they scored another goal in the game to make it 3-3. And this game was very intense at Fratton Park throughout the late stages of the game between the two teams. But in the last 9 seconds at Fratton Park, Jamie Tart scored and made AFC Richmond win the matchup against Portsmouth, all thanks to him to score a second goal of the matchup. And that was very intense scenes at Fratton Park. How did Portsmouth were leading the game, and even AFC Richmond finally found a way to get the lead in the end of the matchup to make it 4-3. And the game did actually end in the last minute of the game, and Ted Lasso's team got their first 3 points of the Premier League season so far after losing to Liverpool last week. And they did it in style by having this game as a real traditional intense match, as it ended Portsmouth 3, AFC Richmond 4, and it was a very good game between both teams, but Richmond were the better ones, and finally they take the first 3 points of their first win of their league season. Manchester United's first home game of their Premier League season, defending champions of this division, got the lead by a goal from Harry Kane in the first 4 minutes of the matchup. And Harry Kane does what he does best by smashing it into that top corner like he did last season. And hopefully he wants to bring that into this new season's campaign as well. The defending champions of the Premier League, Man United, weren't at the lead for long, as it was Tyrone Mings from a set-piece free kick scored to make Aston Villa be level at Old Trafford. And then Aston Villa had a chance to make it 2-1. But of course, John McGinn had a shot, and also Ollie Watkins had a shot. But Navas denied those 2 chances to try and hopefully make Aston Villa get into the lead here at Old Trafford against Manchester United. And then Harry Maguire actually failed Ollie Watkins, and the referee had to give the captain his marching orders, and he was sent off in the 61st minute by failing Ollie Watkins. And that was a harsh challenge, but unfortunately that was the case, as Man United were down to 10 men at Old Trafford. And he will be missing out his next game as the captain for the team to go to the Emirates to take on Arsenal next week. But Aston Villa try and get in front in the matchup, but it was a save from Navas and another save again from Navas to keep it out, as it could have been 2-1 up for Aston Villa. But in the last minute of the matchup, Aston Villa nicked the 3 points at Old Trafford by beating the famous Manchester United by 2-1, all thanks to a header from Jacob Ramsey. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first home game as manager in this new season, the champions of the Premier League from last season, but however lost to Aston Villa at Old Trafford. In the 18th minute of the matchup, Phil Foden to equalise for Manchester City to make it 1-0 against them at Goodison Park. And again, Manchester City scored another goal, as it was Raheem Sterling to make it 2-0 to Manchester City, as the Britishman scored the second goal of the game. And it was a nice, beautiful goal it was here for him, Raheem Sterling. And he smashes it in the left corner of the goal. And then Manchester City scored another goal from Benzema to make it 3-0 to Man City, and really making Everton be the vulnerable team in this matchup, as City scored the third goal of the game. And Man City again scored a fourth goal of the matchup, as it was Benzema swayed it to Sterling to score his second goal of the game, as Man City really counter-attacked and made it even worse for Everton as it is already, to make it 4-0 to Man City. Then it was a handball for Man City's defender to make it a penalty for Everton in the match, as handballs are very restrictively banned in football matches, and VAR does give a penalty for Everton to get something or some hope in this match. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored to get back in the matchup as a consolation goal for Everton. And Everton again had a chance to make it 4-2, but it was a save there from Ederson, a great save he made with his left hand to keep the ball out from a shot from Dele Alli. And Karim Benzema on the counter-attack to score against Jordan Pickford to make it 5-1 to increase their lead in this match. As Manchester City, however, are really got their first win in the bag after loss to Chelsea last week at the Etihad, as in round 2 they win here today by 5-1. Southampton Football Club had a chance to score, but it was a save from Mendy, the keeper. But in the 33rd minute of the matchup, there was a goal, as Jorginho had a shot, but it was deflected off of the defender for Southampton, Sulu, to make Chelsea be the lead by 1-0 in the match. And then Chelsea trying to get a second goal of the matchup from Tammy Abraham, but it was denied by the goalkeeper Alex McCarthy to keep it out, to keep it 1-0 to Chelsea. And then Chelsea to try and extend their lead, but they couldn't again, as Alex McCarthy denied again Jorginho's chance to make it 2-0 to Chelsea, and he made a beautiful save out of that one. In the 57th minute of the matchup, Cucurella crossed the ball into Jorginho to make it 2-0 to Chelsea, but it was denied by offside by the flagsman on the side of the pitch. And Southampton to try and get in the level peg of the matchup, but it was a save from Mendy to keep that out, as Nathan Redmond had a chance to score, but it was saved by Mendy for Chelsea. And Southampton again to try and get a goal in the last minute of the matchup, to try and make it 1-0 in the last gasp of the game, but it was saved by Mendy to keep that out, as Chelsea keep it 1-0. But the match ended at Stamford Bridge as Thomas Tuchel's team got a second win straight in the first 2 matches of the opening games of the Premier League season, as it was a goal from Jorginho in the 33rd minute of the matchup to keep the game as 1-0, and scored it to make it 1-0, as the game ended here today as it was Chelsea 1, Southampton 0 at the end of the match. It was a nice assist there from Roberto Firmino to assist Dybala to make it 1-0 to Liverpool at Molineux. And then Darwin Núñez extended their lead to make it 2-0 to Liverpool and striked it into the bottom right corner of the goal as Liverpool extend their lead to 2-0 of the matchup here and beat Sarr, the goalkeeper, to make it 2-0 to Liverpool. It was a nice assist from Pablo Dybala to assist Thiago to make it 3-0 to Liverpool before half-time. And all the Wolves fans are all booing as Liverpool extend their lead to 3 goals going into half-time. And then again, Liverpool made it 4-0 as it was a great goal there from Pablo Dybala, who smacked it in the top left corner to make it 4-0 to Liverpool. And that's his second goal for the game for Pablo Dybala to beat Sarr not once but twice at Molineux. And it was a nice beautiful cross it was from Darwin Núñez to cross it all the way down to Firmino, and it went through the legs of the goalkeeper Jose Sarr to make it 5-0 and really make Wolves very vulnerable even more in this game. And then Liverpool to make it 6-0 before the 90th minute of the matchup as Roberto Firmino assists Darwin Núñez to make it 6-0 in the matchup, and that's Darwin Núñez's second goal for Liverpool, and he swayed it towards him and all he had to do is tap it in to make it 6-0 at Molineux. And that was a great goal for Liverpool right there. And that puts Liverpool top of the table, top of the tree of the Premier League, and Jurgen Klopp's team have won it again away from home, like they did last week to AFC Richmond when they thrashed them 5-1. And today they did the exact same thing, not just they did to AFC Richmond last week, but also to Wolves here today away from home at Molineux, as the game ended here today as it was Wolves 0, Liverpool 6 at the end of the matchup. All thanks to Dybala and Núñez twice and Thiago and also Roberto Firmino. And Glasgow Rangers kicked off the game very nicely, their first home game of the season, as they scored at Longville Park for a goal from Alfred Munoz to make it 1-0 to Rangers against Watford in the first 5 minutes of the game. And then Glasgow Rangers extended their lead not once but twice by a goal from Kent to make it 2-0. As his shot was saved by a batsman, but it went back to him as the ball was floating up the top in the air, and all he had to do is header it into the back of the net as he had a shot, saved the batsman, the ball went up in the air and he watched the ball where it was going to go and land, and it went in on his head, and it's now 2-0 to Rangers. And then Watford have got a goal back in the matchup. There was a great assist there from Joshua King to slot home to Adeyo Igalo, and Watford trying to get back into the game, but they were losing still by 1 goal against Rangers at the moment in this match. And Watford extended their lead even more to make it 2-2, as it was a goal again from Igalo, and Alan McGregor couldn't save that one as he really placed that in that bottom right corner to make Watford from 2-0 down to 2-2, and they made a great comeback from that one. And the Rangers captain James Tavernier had a free kick from outside of the penalty box, and he had a chance to put it into the back of the net from that long range if he could do so, and the free kick was the free kick from that range. And the free kick was a good free kick from James Tavernier, but the defender for Watford headed it away and kept it away from the penalty area. But it went back into the penalty box, and it was actually a fail, as it was a handball from one of the defenders for Watford, Kamara, to make Watford concede a penalty against Rangers before half-time. And James Tavernier, the captain, takes the penalty for Rangers, and he had that chance to put it into the top right corner, and Rangers scored to make it 3-2 in the matchup. And Glasgow Rangers to try and make it 4-2 in the matchup, but it was a save from Batchman, and it was a corner kick for Rangers. It was a corner for Rangers, and the ball was bounced in the penalty box, and finally Ben Davies got his head towards it, and Rangers extended their lead to make it 4-2 in the matchup here at Longville Park. And it was a great beautiful header from outside of the box, and Ben Davies with that big head into that bottom left corner, he put it in nice and smoothly, and it was a good win it was there for Rangers here today, as they won the match here against Watford by 4-2. It was a beautiful win it was for Rangers, and James Tavernier was also a key player in the match itself. And they did very well to draw against Spurs last week, and they even won today their first league game in the top flight's history for Glasgow Rangers, as the game ended Rangers 4, Watford 2 at the end of the match. Leeds United in their first home game of the Premier League season was a good start, as Jack Harrison scored to make it 1-0 to Leeds United, and all the whole fans of Leeds went all really loud and very, very high throughout that first goal when Jack Harrison smacked it in and Fabianski couldn't do nothing about it for West Ham. And then West Ham had a chance into the 34th minute of the matchup from Arnautovic. It was a save there from Mounier. But disappointingly, Leeds conceded a penalty by handball accidentally by Calvin Phillips. And that was very, very disappointing there, to give away a penalty like that stupidly by putting his hand up in the air, and the ball landed towards his hand, and the referee pointed to the spot for handball for West Ham penalty. And Marko Ivanovic trying to get his first goal for West Ham to start off their season, but Marko Arnautovic had a shot, but it was a save for Mounier to keep that one out, and there was no luck for West Ham United, as that penalty was saved by Mounier. And then Leeds United had a great opportunity for a goal, but it was actually saved by Fabianski. And then Leeds again had an opportunity again for them, but it went into the back of the net, as young 20-year-old Joe Gelhardt scored to make Leeds be 2-0 up in the matchup at Ellen Road. Then Joe Gelhardt trying to get another goal, but it was saved by Fabianski. And then in the last seconds of the matchup, Leeds got a penalty, as was a foul by Dawson, who fouled Phillips to try and get themselves a penalty. And Leeds do get a penalty by that reckless challenge by Craig Dawson. And then the Brazilian Rafinha steps up for this penalty to put it into the back of the net. And the Brazilian Rafinha puts it top right corner and makes Leeds win the game and extend their lead by 3-0. And the match ended at Ellen Road, as it was Leeds United 3, West Ham United 0, and there was no goals at all scored so far in this campaign for West Ham. The official results for match day 2 of the Premier League, as we have, is Brentford 2, Newcastle United 3, Celtic 1, Arsenal 2, Chelsea 1, Southampton 0, Everton 1, Manchester City 5, Leeds United 3, West Ham United 0, Leicester City 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 2, Portsmouth 3, AFC Richmond 4, Rangers 4, Watford 2, and also Wolves 0, Liverpool 6. At the top of the table of the Premier League, we have is Liverpool at the top with 6 points. In second, we have is Arsenal with 6 points. In third, we have is Chelsea with 6 points. In fourth, we have his Leeds with 4 points. In fifth, we have his Rangers with 4 points. In sixth, we have his Tottenham with 4 points. In seventh, we have his Aston Villa with 4 points. In eighth, we have his Manchester City with 3 points. In ninth, we have his Brentford with 3 points. And also in 10th, we have his Newcastle United with 3 points. At the bottom half of the table, we have his Portsmouth with 3 points. In 12th, we have his Leicester with 3 points. In 13th, we have his Manchester United with 3 points. In 14th, we have his AFC Richmond with 3 points. In 15th, we have his Celtic with 1 point. In 16th, we have his Watford with 1 point. In 17th, we have his Southampton with 0 points. In 18th, we have his West Ham United with 0 points. In 19th, we have his Wolves with 0 points. And also last, we have his Everton with 0 points. For next week, for Matchday 3, featuring the Premier League matches at the River Thames Derby, we have his AFC Richmond taking on Chelsea in London Derby. And also we will have the old rivalry as Arsenal will take on Manchester United. And also the other 8 matches of goals and highlights for those games also. And that's all we have time for here today for Matchday 2 of the Premier League here today. Myself here today, Gary Lineker. We'll be back, of course, for next week for March the 4th for Matchday 3 of the Premier League. Until now, goodbye for now, and we'll see you next week with some more action for Matchday 3. Goodbye.